Howdy friends, my name is Glenn and welcome back to my vlog series where I talk about my experiences and insights of my life as a full-time voiceover talent. So one of my favorite things about running my own business is about how new and dynamic so many of these things can be. Like when you're the guy running your own business, you're not just clocking in for 8 hours, staying busy until you get to go home. You're always looking for new opportunities and experiences and new whatever else is on the horizon to bring your business to the next level. Case in point, this last week was a big week of firsts for me. Of me taking on new things, both in life and in work that I'd never really experienced before. So today, for my video, I'm going to utilize a classic YouTuber trope and create a top 5 list of my biggest firsts of the previous week. First, number 1. Last week was the first time that I signed up for a voiceover pay-to-play site. For those of you not in the know, there are hundreds, if not thousands of websites out there where voiceover talents can look for work. Some of the biggest and most popular of these websites are referred to as pay-to-play sites, which are websites where you pay either a yearly or monthly subscription fee to have access to a huge list of casting calls that you can audition for. Just last night, I invested $500 into upgrading to a premium membership for the website Voices.com, one of the biggest pay-to-play sites for voiceovers out there. I've been wanting to make this jump in my career for a long time. Voices.com is like the website where a lot of the big, primo, super professional, awesome voiceover talents go to look for new work. And I'm finally feeling proficient enough in my own skills and experiences to throw my hat in that ring. So yeah, here's hoping that the next year brings in a sizable return on that investment. First, number 2. Last week was my first time participating in a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. This is something else that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but never was able to because I didn't have the friends who wanted to do it with me until now. We had our first session last Saturday. My friends helped me go through the sheets and fill out my character sheet and explain the rule set to me. It's a pretty steep learning curve, but my friend, the Dungeon Master, was great, and I'm really looking forward to it being a really fun journey. And of course, a huge part of D&D is the role-playing aspect, which I, as a voice actor, was having an absolute riot with. Because, you know, when I'm playing Dungeons & Dragons, I'm not playing it as Glenn, but rather,
I am Dokrazur, Dragonborn Paladin of Bahamut, purging the world of impurities and heresy.
So yeah, super fun. We're picking up the game the next session in a couple of weeks from now, and I'm really looking forward to it. Fun times. First, number 3. Last week was my first time picking up a project where I had to do a Russian character accent for multiple characters. So I've done a lot of character work where I've had to be people from, different regions and countries around the world. Now, I am by no means saying that my accent could pass as native in any one of these countries around the world. But as far as character animation work goes and creating these larger-than-life characters, I've got a lot of different accents that I can draw upon. So when necessary, I could take on a Boston accent, or I could go down south and be more of a southern accent. Or I could go across the Atlantic and, I could take on a vanilla British accent. Or go to one of the other British islands and I could take on a Scottish accent. Or maybe I could, go to another island and take on an Irish accent. And of course, when the situation calls upon it, I can take upon a Russian accent. The tricky thing is when you're given multiple characters with the same foreign accent, and you have to make all of these characters then sound different from each other. So in this case, maybe I have a character who's more of my vanilla Russian voice.
But then maybe I have another character who's a bit older and more rugged Russian character.
And then maybe I have a bit of a younger character who's a little more timid, little more green.
And then maybe I have a very charismatic, crazy Russian character who's a very over-the-top and enthusiastic person. Duh.
I'm still working on this project, but I've got about 6 or 7 different voices for Russian people, as well as a couple folks from the US, as well as the Middle East that I need to do. So we'll see how that goes. First, number 4. Number 4. Last week was the first time in recent history that I managed to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and order fewer than 24 boneless wings off of the menu. Now, I've said this before that it's not that losing weight is difficult for me. It's that eating food is easy. But at 29 now, I don't really have the same metabolism as I used to be, and my cardiovascular performance is a far cry of the marathon running days of my youth. And Buffalo Wild Wings is one of my favorite restaurants of all time, so whenever I go, I like to go hard. But in the spirit of trying to be more responsible with my diet, I was able to finally muster enough self-control and purchase only 12 wings off of the menu. So I was only having a 1,500 calorie dinner instead of a 3,000 calorie dinner. So yeah, that was something for me, a little small victory. That's hard for me to do. And lastly, first, number 5, the big one. So last week, wrapping up the month of October, left October as being the first month since I started doing voiceover full-time that my voiceover career actually made a profit. In other words, for the first time in over a year, I actually made enough money during the previous month to cover all of my living expenses and still have some money left over in the bank. After 12 months of work, my voiceover business is finally becoming sustainable, and I'm finally putting money away in the bank to replace some of the money that I invested all this previous year. And I am so excited and blessed right now to be at this point in my career. And really, it's still just so surreal to me in my mind. Like, it wasn't enough for me just to, quit my law firm job to go off and chase a dream. But now, I'm like actually doing it. And I'm able to make enough money to keep doing it. That is just such a new and crazy thing for me, man. I can't wrap my head around it. But yeah, it just gives me tremendous confidence and peace of mind going into the future. And I'm so looking forward to see what the Lord has in mind for my life and for my business in the months and years and maybe decades to come. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being awesome. As always, if you want to be cool, you can like, comment, and subscribe on the video. I appreciate it. The YouTube algorithm appreciates it. Everyone's happy. And that's all for this week, folks. And remember, stay humble, stay teachable, and stay focused. Take care, you guys. God bless.